We're reading this book today. I've started it, so you just join me. I've started it already. It's the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. So I'll be reading it out for all of you. Um, I'm on page. Uh, I think. Okay, let me start from chapter 12. No. Okay. Okay. So the 5 scientific truths behind excellent habits. The 5 scientific truths behind excellent habits. Truth 1: World class willpower isn't an inborn strength but a skill developed through relentless practice. Getting up at dawn is perfect self control training. Truth number 2: Personal discipline is a muscle. The more you stretch it, the stronger it grows. Therefore, the summarize of self-regulation actively creates conditions of hardship to build their natural power. Truth number 3: Like other muscles, willpower weakens when tired. Recovery is therefore absolutely necessary for the expression of mastery and to manage decision fatigue. Truth number 4: Installing any great habit successfully follows a distinct 4-part pattern for automation of the routine. Follow it explicitly for lasting result. Truth number 5. Truth number 5. Increasing self-control in one area of your life elevates self-control in all areas of your life. This is why joining the 5 a.m. club is the game-changing habit that will lift everything else that you do. The 3 values of heroic habit makers. Value 1: Victory demands consistency and persistency. Value number 2: Following through on what is started determines the size of personal respect that will be generated. Value number 3: The way you practice in private is precisely the way you perform once you are in public. The general theory of self-discipline, Spartans. The general the one general theory of self-discipline, Spartans. To regularly do what sorry to regularly do that which is hard but important when it feels most uncomfortable is how warriors are born. The billionaire closed his eyes and repeated this phrase: I don't wish for an easy life because there is no growth of my powers there. Give me a challenging life, one that brings out the finest in me, for this makes an iron will and an unconquerable character. This shower is my gift to you too. The industrialist went on. Please do study the 5 scientific truths and the 3 values along with the one general theory that make up the 531 creed of the willpower warrior. It will serve you brilliantly as you encode these habits that endure. Within a few moments, an auto rickshaw sped up from an empty parking area off in the distance. One came is Out came a smiling young man dressed smartly in a dark grey jacket, perfectly pressed trousers, and polished brown shoes. Namaste, Arjun, said the billionaire as he clapped his hands together. Hey, boss, was the warm response of his assistant. Through his words, Though his words were casual, the way he articulated them demonstrated immense respect for his employer. You two know the story behind the Taj Mahal, the billionaire asked as the aide stood off to the side, looking ready to offer any help to Mr. Riley. Please tell us, the entrepreneur requested. She carried a single legal notepad with a simple black roller pen, rollerball pen. All the billionaires earlier talk of how the misuse of technology leads to the destruction of creativity and an extreme reduction in productivity was having a major impact on her life. Today, she wore a bangle engraved with the words, "Dreams don't come true while you are sleeping." Dreams don't come true while you are sleeping. Sure, it's a rad story about the billionaire retreating to more of his California surfer slang. Like you two, sweetheart, the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, who masterminded this marvel, was very much in love. As a symbol of his devotion to and adoration of his wife, Mumtaz, after her death in 1631, he committed himself to the construction of a monument the likes of which the world had never seen, one so extravagantly sensational, staggering inspirational, and structurally exceptional that all onlookers would understand the depths of this man's affection as they experience all its splendor. It does something to my heart when I look at it, murmured the artist, staring at the marble facade that glimmered in front of him. He squinted as the early morning rays struck his eyes. He was looking more fit, calm, confident, and poised than the entrepreneur had ever observed. Me too, agreed the billionaire with a note of melancholy in his voice. Seeing the Taj Mahal isn't just an excursion of the intellect, it's also a resurrection of the spirit. It walks even the numbers person up to what we as human creatures are capable of producing. But to continue on, once the Mahajara, Maharaja set his bold intention, his workers started the process of translating the lofty vision into a definite reality. Because, as you both know, ambition without implementation is a ridiculous delusion. I go again. Ambition without implementation is a ridiculous delusion. You two are now much more fluent in the insight that anything legendary requires generous amount of industry, artistry, and persistency. Mastery isn't a sudden event. It really is a ceaseless process that may take years of painstaking craftsmanship, practice, sacrifice, and suffering before the finished project intensifies to a level that moves the world. This is yet another GCA, a gargantuan competitive advantage, continued Mr. Riley. To remain loyal to your noble idea, not only during the weeks after you thought of the dream, but over the long months and perhaps extended years in the parched desert of creative implementation, while you endure rejection, exhaustion, the stones of jealous peers, the skepticism of your loved ones, being diverted by other attractive opportunities, and finding your way through the isolated winters of self-doubt. This is what separates the also run from the icon. Anyone can be great for a minute. The sport of icons is sustaining genius grade performance over a lifetime, and that takes unusual grit and patience, uncommon in these superficial times. You're welcome. We're reading the 5 a.m. club. Where was I? That kind, the kind that the majority of society today has hardly failed to develop. Know what I mean? The and the billionaire was animated, energetic, and completely jacked up. He threw an arm into the air and flashed the universal victory sign with his 2 fingers. It seemed he did so just to protect his inspiration and to insulate the fire that had been activated within his heart. Many decades ago, Albert E. N. Gray delivered an address for salespeople in the insurance industry. He called it the common denominator of success, and it distilled that the author had identified over 30 years of study as the greatest key to, to fortune in one's business, family, health, financial, and spiritual lives. What was it? Inquired the entrepreneur with acute interest as she sipped her now tepid coffee. Well, offered the billionaire, from my recollection of the pamphlet that was made from the talk, and when why okay. Convinced hard work was not the real secret. So what was it? Implored the artist impatiently. Jude, I'm getting to it. The magnet replied playfully. So Albert Gray said, this common denominator of success is so big, so powerful, and it is interjected the entrepreneur, equally unable to wait for the answer. Gray explained that the common denominator of success, the secret of success of every man and woman who has ever been successful, lies in the fact that they form the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. Simple and profound, observed the artist as he ran one hand down one dreadlock. He too sipped some now cold coffee. Top producers make it a habit to do the high value activities that average ones don't feel like doing, even when they do, even when they too don't feel like doing them. The billionaire continued, and by practicing the desired behavior over and over, their self mastery and personal discipline grows, and the new routine becomes automated. The artist nodded, then stroked his goatee. He was thinking about his art. I truly have been limiting myself because of my insecurities. He thought once again, I'm so worried about what others will say about my work, and I'm not creating enough. And Mr. Riley is right. I'm not being patient and building the self control that doing difficult but valuable things brings. I sort of just do what I want anytime I want. Some days I have some drive, and other times I sleep all day. Sometimes I'm lazy. Some days I work hard. I'm like a cork bobbing in the water with no steady direction, no real structure, no real discipline. I play video games a lot, sometimes for many hours, and I have this habit of rushing to create paintings that sell fast when I need some money instead of slowing down and concentrating all my skill on the one opus that will definitely define the extent of my expertise and turn my whole field on its head by its genius. So the billionaire expounded, returning to his story about the making of the Taj Mahal for 22 years, not 22 days and not 22 months, 22 years, over 20,000 workers toiled in the scorching Indian sun, block of marble by block of marble carried from immense distances by over 1,000 elephants. The army of craftsmen steadily erected the structure we are saying. They faced architectural roadblocks, environmental extremes, and unexpected tragedies along the journey, yet they were focused, fearless, and relentless, dazzling, dazzling, dazzlingly committed to doing what it took to get the emperor's gorgeous dream done. Really incredible, said the artist as he surveyed the landmark. A butterfly sailed by, a few raindrops sprinkled on his face, and believe it or not, more doves soared high above the billionaire's head. That's with all the doves. What's with all the doves, rainbows, and butterflies that seem to surround you a lot of the time? Pressed the entrepreneur as she adjusted the t-shirt she was wearing. It had a quote from Oscar Wilde on it that seemed to fit the newfound awareness of the businesswoman. It read, "Be yourself, everyone else is taken." I go again, "Be yourself, everyone else is taken." We all have the magic. Most of us don't know how to use it, was the Baron's brief and mysterious reply. So, getting back to the Taj Mahal, after 2 decades, the mausoleum was complete, he remarked in one hushed tone, and mankind was given one of the greatest products of poetic audacity it has ever received. I'm beyond inspired, confided the entrepreneur. Thank you so much for bringing us here to Agra. I'm ever so grateful. The emperor must have really cared for his wife, mused the artist, delivering a penetrating review of the wonderfully obvious. He then looked intently at the entrepreneur. Her radiance went far beyond the basic beauty of scarlet models and women of fine glamour. Hers was a quieter, more profound loveliness, the kind that makes sunrises special and moonbeams enchanting. He thought to himself that this woman's magnetism comes from a place deeper than merely an attractive face. It was a charm born of struggle, an electricity emanating from heart, an energy emitting through a formidable intellect, and prettiness formed by her robust resolve to step into a person of true power, wisdom, and love. The Taj Mahal is such a direct metaphor for you cats to consider on the subject of staying with the commitment to a new habit through whatever hardships show up and remaining sincere to your ideals. Not only in the season of comfort, but especially when it gets terrifically difficult. And that is why this morning coaching is so exceedingly important. What you are about to learn will help you implement so much of the philosophies I've shared with you up till now. The Spellbinder has carefully developed the model I'm about to review over many years, working with business builders, masterful achievers, and change makers like myself. Today's session isn't so much about why you should embrace the morning ritual of rising before the sun. It's much more about how you can get this routine done as a lifetime regimen. Explain industrialist as he rubbed an ear loop like an imaginative child rubbing a magic lamp. Awesome, said the artist. I need this. The practical ways to make sure I don't stop getting up at 5 a.m. after this adventure ends. Cool, indicated the billionaire. Then let's go. Two burly security guards then led the billionaire, the entrepreneur, and the artist through a private entrance into the complex, usually reserved for heads of state, members of royalty, and other global leaders. Once inside the monument, which was dark and still, the billionaire began his discourse. This is a fascinating, riveting, confusing, and exciting period in the lifeline of the world. For those showing up as victims each morning and every day, the future will be very hard, dangerous, and frightening because they won't know what hit them and they will be absolutely unprotected to deal with the environmental, economic, and societal upheaval that is coming. Yet, for the dedicated minority who have habituated a battle-proof morning routine to defend their gifts, cultivated heroic personal restraint, and developed a, a bulletproof character.